Hello, my name is Felix Bret, and I'm a sophomore at Phillips Academy. Today, I'd like to talk about transportation inequalities in the United States of America and how to potentially fix them using high-speed rail. For personal context, I like to read a lot and strongly believe in using public policy to help those who need it most. Last spring, I read Robert Caro's book The Power Broker, a biography talking about the life of Robert Moses, arguably the most important urban planner of the 20th century. Moses was seen as the master builder of the New Deal era all until the 1960s. During that time, he built masterworks such as the Triborough Bridge and Jones Beach to the benefit of many communities. But Robert Moses also hurt those communities. He built his highways to Jones Beach with low overpasses to ensure that buses, which at the time were used predominantly by minorities, wouldn't be able to pass through. Moses also built a highway through a relatively prosperous African-American neighborhood when less damaging options were available, relegating that community to obscurity and hardship. But the single most important thing Robert Moses did was to cement America's car culture. Although the man never learned to drive, he was obsessive about the vehicle. Moses believed that cars were the sole viable transport option of the future. During his time in a dozen power positions, Moses made New York City cut public transport funding, resulting in crammed, unsafe trains and increased congestion. Importantly, however, Robert Moses didn't just look at the short term. He also played the long game. When acquiring land to build a highway, he would only get the bare minimum. Even when state officials pressured him to buy more, and the budget allowed him to, he refused. Moses understood that doing so would open up pathways for alternate transport, such as rail. Because Moses was seen as a master builder of his time, nearly every builder in his wake followed. Consequently, the United States is a nation of over 160,000 miles of interstate, but next to none in high-speed rail. Because of this legacy, heaps of people, such as minorities and blue-collar workers, are marginalized through the transport system for no fault of their own. Today, however, I'd like to provide an alternative to that system of socioeconomic marginalization. Since Moses fell from grace during the 60s, trains have re-emerged more viable than before with the creation of high-speed rail. Today, I'd like to talk about China's journey with high-speed rail and how replicating it could be immensely beneficial to the United States. Although the Japanese are the creators of it, there is no denying that the Chinese have mastered it. Conceived during the early 2000s, when your average train in China could only get you 30 miles in an hour, China's high-speed rail network has since blossomed and now connects every major city in the country. Since its creation, high-speed rail in China has ferried more than 20 billion people at a rate of about 2 billion a year, and it's only projected to grow. Thanks to high-speed rail in China, people who live in cities separated by a 3-hour car drive can now commute on a daily basis using high-speed rail. Thanks to high-speed rail in China, labor mobility has increased, as people from smaller urban centers are now more easily able to access larger ones. However, we shouldn't just build high-speed rail in the United States because other countries have, such as China. We should also be doing so because the playing field in the United States as a whole is changing too. With areas such as the Rust Belt in California losing population, and areas such as the Sun Belt gaining population, planners of the future have a duty not to repeat the mistakes of the past, and to build an American transport network for all Americans. To that end, I'm going to talk today about the 3 main stages in the construction of high-speed rail, what each one of them is, and how we can further assist the marginalized in each one. Step 1 is finding good region, Step 2 is construction, and Step 3 is daily operations. In Step 1, finding a good region, it's generally agreed that densely populated corridors should be chosen, such as the Texas Triangle, Northeastern Seaboard, and California. However, for maximum benefit to the marginalized, not only should we build in those regions, we should also build deep into less affluent neighborhoods. Doing so would open up the world at large for thousands of people. According to the Regional Transportation Authority in Chicago, African Americans and Latinos have the longest commute times out of any racial group, being 48 and 46 minutes respectively. Think what we could do if we could reduce that. Think of what you could do with an extra 10 minutes in your day. You could have an extra 10 minutes to socialize, to read, to be at work, to be with your family, or just to relax. Compound that on a societal scale, and you would be elevating thousands out of poverty. In Stage 2 in the life of high-speed rail, construction, it's generally agreed that hiring local contractors would be optimal, as it would directly benefit people living in those regions by providing them with an inflow of jobs. However, For maximum benefit to the marginalized, not only should we build in those regions, we should also hire in communities where unemployment has been historically high. Doing so is a proven method of reducing it. For historical comparison, similar things were done during the New Deal era, with projects such as the Hoover Dam and Tennessee Valley Authority helping to elevate thousands out of the depths of the Great Depression. In stage 3 in the life of high-speed rail, daily operations, it is imperative that once a high-speed rail line is up and running, it also serves those who need it most, along with those who can easily access it. To that end, I suggest providing discounts to people who are on Medicaid and food stamps, which would make it easier for them to access it. By following the aforementioned steps, not only would we be creating a high-speed rail network in the United States, we would also be creating a transport network where groups that previously struggled to get to the world at large can now more easily than ever access it. Think of what benefits high-speed rail could have for you. You'd now be able to get from DC to Boston in less than 4 hours. You could use high-speed rail to get you to your holiday or to your job, potentially saving you money in car and gas prices. At first, though, these benefits may be limited, especially as car culture would likely remain prevalent. Eventually, however, as high-speed rail would come to connect the nation, housing costs would decrease, spurred by the creation of new affordable neighborhoods now within a 1-hour train trip from downtown. An overlooked benefit of high-speed rail is that it can be productive in the cabin. You can work on your computer in the train, not in a car, unless you have a death wish. By building a high-speed rail network in the United States, we'd be breaking developmental, societal, and transportational barriers for the marginalized. By building a high-speed rail network, we'd be revitalizing cities in decline and further vitalizing ones already doing well. If we were to take lessons from countries that have previously built such a network and apply them to ourselves and improved upon them, we'd be creating the foundation for a fairer, more equitable, and prosperous American transport system fit for the 21st century. Thank you.